Hello, everyone. I'm Kelly Covert, and I am here with our principal percussionist, Michael Bull. Finally, I conned him into sitting down with me to do an at-home with Symphoria interview, and he is here to talk about our upcoming Spark concert. There's a very special percussion feature for that. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing well. Yeah, everything is good. So.
Excellent. So why don't you tell us about this special percussion feature on our upcoming Spark Masquerade concert that you are doing?
Well, the piece is written by a Brazilian composer, Ney Rosaro, and it's called Mitos Brasileiros. And the reason why I chose this piece for us to play is because the theme of our Spark concert coming up is Masquerade. And as you know, Masquerade is deception, lying, hiding, and that type of thing. And this piece fits right into it. And one of the reasons why I wanted to play not just this piece, but with the percussion ensemble, is because with the pandemic going on, we have not had an opportunity to be together for a very long time. And the percussion ensemble did play a piece for WCNY, John Cage's living room music. And that was so much fun. We were just sitting there just talking because we didn't get a chance to really hang out with each other. So for me, this is like really a reunion of the percussion section. And I love playing with my colleagues. I mean, I've been standing next to Ernie for over 40 years, and I can't think of a better thing. Mm-hmm. So back to this piece. This piece fits in perfectly with our Masquerade theme, is because Ney wrote this piece about the Brazilian myths and creatures that live in Brazil. And so we're going to play two movements of this thing. And the first one is Curupira.
What does that mean?
That's right, Curupira. And this creature lives in the woods. He's the dwarf. He's a red-headed dwarf with green teeth. And he has backwards feet, so that when he walks, he actually looks like he's walking to where he came from. So it's very deceptive. And the reason why he lives in the woods, and Kelly, you'll appreciate this because you know me, he protects the animals in the woods.
From people like you, probably.
From people like me. He has made a pact with hunters to only kill enough animals that they need to eat. And if you take too many animals, he will, well, the myth says he kills you, so that's pretty harsh. But what he does with his feet, like he attracts you and he's walking, and so you get confused and lost in the woods and are never seen again. So he protects the animals. And the other thing that I found...
Wait, pause just a second there. Just for everyone who might not know what you do besides beat on drums at Symphoria concerts, you are well known to be quite the hunter, and you have property that you hunt on, and that's something that you really love. So for those of you who are wondering when I said someone like you, that's what I meant.
Yes, a bow hunter like me. And another connection I have to this little creature is that he is also a drummer. And I just found that out yesterday.
Oh, interesting.
And what he does is he drums on the trees in the Brazilian forest to warn the animals that the hunters are coming so that they'll run away. So that's the first movement. And And it's interesting because we get to play some traditional instruments in this. Like I'm playing the marimba, Ernie's playing the xylophone, but I also am playing frying pans and laughing and screaming. And Ernie has tin cans that he's throwing on the floor and banging all over the place. And Jennifer is playing a bulb horn and a pea whistle, so that creating chaos in the woods, to protect the animals. So it's some traditional playing and some really interesting stuff that we as percussionists love to do, because most of our time is spent counting rests on stage, which is great playing with the orchestra, but playing that one triangle note in Copland Third Symphony. But this is really, these intricate rhythms and the stuff that we get to do in this piece is just, it's fun. It's scary, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm. So, and one of the things that I was thinking about too, since we did have to revamp our season a little bit, we are doing pieces that were written oftentimes before a very large percussion section was being used in orchestral music. Can you talk a little bit about
About the music, yeah. Generally, in the 18th century, there was not much percussion in orchestra, even into the 19th century, because percussion was more of a military tradition or a janissary tradition. And what happened is when percussion started being introduced into the orchestra, it was more in a military fashion. 1812 overture, right? Beethoven, Wellington's Victory, and those types of things that the percussion was used to depict military type battles and things. The timpani were the first major instruments to be introduced into the orchestra as the foundation, and they're tonal instruments because you can tune them, to specific pitches. Well, supposedly you can. So, and
our percussionists can.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And so, and a lot of our instruments did not originate in the United States. Really, one of the only instruments that I can think of is the drum set, which is a uniquely American instrument that was really not even 100 years old yet at the moment. I mean, it was designed like in the middle 20s, 1920s is when that was. The first percussion ensemble piece, ionization, 1932, 31, 32, so we're very young in the instruments that we have. Now we had the bass drum and the snare drum because that was, military stuff, and a triangle, cymbals, tambourine, stuff like that. But it's really the instruments, a lot of them that we play, like the mallet instruments, they come from Africa, they come from South America, they come from Latin America. So a lot of the instruments that we play today, nobody even heard of them at the time. Like Bach wrote beautiful music. I mean, just spectacular music for all sorts of instruments. And it's always been my contention that if he knew that the marimba existed, he would have written most of his music for marimba, because it's such a beautiful instrument. And we play transcriptions of Bach and Mozart because that's the only way that as percussionists we get a chance to learn about the history of music, because Bach didn't write anything for percussion. And so how would I know who Bach was or what he contributed if I didn't get a chance to experience, by our transcriptions?
Yeah.
We'll go a little far afield here, sorry.
Well, no, because I think it's so interesting because back to the piece that we're talking about, it is written by a Latinx composer, a Brazilian composer. And does it use any traditional Brazilian instruments?
It uses a tambourine, which is a jingleless tambourine, let's say. And it's got a kind of a high sound, and you play with a stick and you slap it, and you use your fingers underneath it to change the pitch of it.
Oh, interesting.
And I mean, some of the other instruments, well, there's congas, there's bongos, but really, wood blocks, not really any other really traditional style Brazilian instruments, but a lot of Latin instruments, Latin influenced instruments, temple blocks and stuff, and the marimba and the xylophone. And throughout the 5 movements, it also uses vibraphone. And there are, in the other movements, there are some more, I think, more traditional Latin instruments I can't think of at the moment. I haven't looked at the middle movements for a while. So sorry, my brain,
No, so you told us about the first movement that you're playing of the ogre who lives in the woods to protect the animals.
Yes.
And what is the second movement that you're playing?
It's the 5th movement of the piece, the last movement, and it's Mula Sem Cabeça. And so Mula Sem Cabeça is a headless horse that rides through the nights on like Friday nights, Thursday and Friday nights. And it's a woman's ghost who is being punished because she was not probably the best woman. Like she and the priest were lovers. Okay. So you know where that's going. So she's kind of, she's destined to ride this horse, or be this horse. No head, but people say, who have seen her, who claim to have seen her, say that she shoots flames out where her head should be, and she is just destined to ride throughout eternity, because she is probably not the most upstanding woman.
So she's wearing a mask of fire. It makes you wonder what the punishment for the priest was.
I don't know. In the legend, it doesn't say, but yes, I know. I find it interesting that the woman is punished.
Yeah, funny how that works.
Eternity, right?
Well, these pieces sound so fascinating, and I want to thank you for coming on today and telling everyone about them. For those of you who are watching, make sure you get your tickets, your streaming tickets to our Spark Masquerade concert, which is on October 10th. At 7 p.m., you'll get to see the percussion ensemble play this lovely Brazilian piece, as well as the string quartet is going to be performing, and the full orchestra as well, all playing pieces that are centered around the theme of wearing masks or being in disguise. It's going to be a wonderful concert, and you can get your tickets at experiencesymphoria.org. Michael Bull, thank you so much. I know it will be now at least another year before I can have you on again, but I thank you for your time and wish everyone a happy week.
Thank you.